City walk around Marina Bay. You're approaching Marina Bay from the south heading north. You're following towards it on a stone pathway with grass and bare plains around you. You can see the lake that Marina Bay connects to, and the 3 tiers of elevated white stone that the city is built on. Marina Bay is structured in a way that it is like 3 discs were placed between the grassy plains and the water connecting to a lake and a sea. On the surface, beneath the first disc, is the underground of Marina Bay. Despite actually being on the surface, it is shrouded in darkness from the above tiers. This is where many of the workers and less fortunate or poverty-stricken population end up residing. The housing down here is cheaper. There are market stalls, but they're not very profitable or good. They're mostly just there for cheaper bread. Almost like handouts. Many of the dock workers live at the bottom of Marina Bay in this area. As you approach, you're greeted at the gate by 2 guards. They ask you for your name and your business, and you tell them your name and that you're just visiting. They open up the gate and let you in. You expected to be let onto the surface tier right from entrance, but beyond the gate leads directly into a set of stairs, sending you upwards to the first tier. This level is mostly markets and stores. You can walk around the outer perimeter and look out over the fields and the water as you rotate around it slowly. It takes a long time to walk around the outside perimeter of the first tier, but it's doable within a day. Maybe just a few hours of walking. If you head inwards, you'll see that there are only about 2 or 3 rows of buildings that are accessible from the exterior. The middle of this section has a thick supporting pillar that stretches upwards through the higher tiers and downwards into the underground. You see an access door to enter through to this large pillar. And when you're inside, there are ladders that lead upwards and downwards for entry and exit, as well as more shops. This is the part of the first level that store owners or suppliers might use to easily navigate off of the busy streets surrounding them. You try one of the doors to enter a business and find that it's locked. Probably a good thing, since this is not where you should be entering from. But you're able to cross through this pillar and exit out onto the other side of the first tier. You see many families walking together and enjoying their day out here. It looks like there's a small festival area set up on the western side. Sorry, not western, eastern side, overlooking the water. It has a few small rides, but nothing large. Kids are playing on it, and the parents are watching from a short distance. You find another set of stairs that leads you upwards, not only from the internal access ladders, but from the outside there are also several stairs leading you to the second tier. The second tier is smaller, with a smaller support beam. And you can see these buildings have no advertisements or signs posted. They are built more as homes, and you can see people relaxing or doing their daily duties up here. You see a boy on a bike passing out papers from house to house. It looks like Marina Bay actually has a news system. And that's novel to you, because coming from outside of the city, most other places have shaky word of mouth at best. You're not permitted to access the higher floor than this. The third floor is reserved for government officials and military duty only. Although you can't go up there yourself, you do know how it is organized. There's no central pillar like the lower tiers. And the buildings are more outwardly arranged, facing the inside, where they can all face each other in a small area, almost like a roundabout or a cul-de-sac. The northmost building is where the highest officials of Marina Bay do their business and sleep at night. It's not often that they come downwards to the lower tiers. Most often, if they need anything, they'll have a courier send it upward. To the east and the west are two separate military encampments. One for the lower ranked soldiers, and one for the higher rank official soldiers. The one to the west is significantly larger, but less developed. This is the barracks where most people in the army are sleeping and eating. And on the right is where the generals and commanders make their plans in the east. The rest of the buildings are less decorated and are more necessities, such as the treasury, bank, and judicial building. Coming back to where you are on the second tier, you head back in towards the center looking for that access door again. You find it on the outside of the pillar, and you enter again. It seems like this is the only way to actually get up to the third tier where the government and military operate. You don't go up, but instead you go downwards, down to the surface in the underground. You can finally exit out of the door and begin exploring the lower half of Marina Bay. Unlike the first and second tier, where there were maybe a few rows of houses before the access doors and pillar, the surface is sprawling and disorganized. It doesn't all follow a circular pattern, and it seems like it was built over top of an older city that was built more on a square grid. Many of the buildings are even still built like the old architecture, with bricks or clay or cement. Many are run down and in ruins. You see kids running around in the streets without their parents, and maybe their clothes are torn. You hear someone screaming that a thief has stolen their belongings, and nobody looks up from what they're doing. You continue to head northwest, where you see that the underground opens up into an area of light. Strong men carrying boxes enter and exit from this outside. You can tell that this is where the dock workers are. You exit out to the docks, and it's a massive area, almost the same size as the third tier, built over top of the water. Wooden docks with ships parked all up and down them. Looking back towards the city, you see that there's an staircase that leads up to the first tier. Some people really don't ever go down to the underground. Maybe that makes you sad. But it seems like most of the city believes that if they can just forget what's under them, what's making their city run, then it doesn't matter. From here, you board a ship, pay a small fee, and you set sail, leaving Marina Bay behind to be visited again some other time.